Ignorance is used as a way to maintain the ability to say, I don't know, therefore I won't accept that you do. Ignorance isn't just bliss. It is a tactic used by people who are contrarians or denialists. All they have to do is constantly say, I refuse to accept your assertion, playing judge and jury by saying, I refuse to admit that you've proven a case against me, which is the reason we have courts. If the defendant got to decide whether or not they were guilty, you'd never get any damn thing done. And it's a similar pattern, unfortunately, in finding out or sussing out the truth. We discern the truth about the world around us against its will. We don't have to get permission from the universe to find out its secrets. That's kind of the point. Someone decided to come by the channel and do a what about, literally saying, what about? And then says, you can't answer this question. So the first thing I'm doing the video at the 1 minute mark is answering it. The subject matter of jurisdiction. What is the jurisdiction for a court? Now, the presumption a lot of people might have, at least on first blush, is that generally a court can do any case it wants to. And that seems like a given, but also we know about cases going through civil court, criminal court, probate court, where they decide whether or not a will is valid. Family court exists. Some of us cringe at that last one. I've actually dealt with that at one point. I was the object rather than the subject, as they say. Not sure how that should have come out. But anyway, when you look up these sorts of things, you have to work very hard not to be able to type in the words subject matter jurisdiction and somehow not find 100 articles explaining to you clearly. So here we go. In the United States federal court, that's the U.S. government court system, they have exclusive jurisdiction over only very specific subjects. There's generalized jurisdiction and omnipotent jurisdiction, we can call it, but there's various layers of how tightly and specifically it has to be done. For instance, copyright or patent disputes, which have to do with saying I'm the creator of and owner of an idea, or owner of a design, or owner of a trademark, waptek registered copyright, patent, whatever. United States bankruptcy court exists. If there's disputes we have to deal with. State courts have the authority to hear most of the types of cases, and they can have a state court system divided into divisions for each type. They can also have a superior court that has generalized jurisdiction and is allowed to hear any court case of any kind that wasn't processed by the others or isn't available. It could be any new or novel type of case, could be gone through it. And also some of you have also existed in an area or dealt with it where a local court system has decided that there's not enough cases to have any specialization, so they can be a generalized court. That's it. So you literally get a lower superior court because it can handle generalized jurisdiction. It is allowed to make decisions or making final decisions concerning any dispute. Most court cases are based on a dispute. You have an accuser and an accused in criminal cases. In civil cases, it's an argument over the validity of an agreement or transaction, that sort of thing. Family courts, that gets into a subject I can't even cover. And yes, wills and last testaments and that sort of thing, probate courts for that. And there's a bunch of other kinds of court cases. There's traffic court, where they exclusively deal with an extremely narrow range of things where it's not a criminal case, it's a violation of the law, it's moving violations, whatever, and they deal with an extremely narrow thing. They don't deal with criminal cases if they don't have to. But you could be in a local town that wears many hats, and they would have broad, omnipotent level covering of a case, at least in first blush. And if you wanted to bump it up to the next higher level, you could, but it might be a waste of time. You could decide that the court itself made a mistake and demand to have it kicked upstairs, all the way up to the Supreme Court. And in case you haven't figured out, the Supreme Court has jurisdiction over any fucking thing you bring to them. If you want to bring it to them, you're granting them jurisdiction. They have the right to make the decision, which has actually bitten the U.S. government on the butt a couple of dozen times, by the way. But any court with a specialized purpose would lack jurisdiction based on subject matter that it covers to hear a case from another one. A criminal court case cannot be processed in civil court, for instance. That's really not hard to figure out. Now, if you read the Wikipedia article, God help you, someone sat there and mucked around trying to fix the grammar. There's some foreboding noises and music in the back of your head. Why is the boss music playing? That's the kind of thing we're going into here. Now, what could muck any of this up? Well, there's a Latin wording for it. Let's bring Latin into it. Let's bring Hebrew. Fuck it, why not? So, I did a video pointing out that quantum grammar people muck up the works. They don't muddy the waters, they take a shit in it by deciding that even the weird grammar they come up with, like sovereign citizens do this as well, or specialized language they're using, or invoking maritime law from some other country in another language. Just drag anything in there, just throw it in, just pile it on. Even that isn't good enough, and then they reinvent themselves by using some other initialism. And I made a video pointing out that one of these initialisms that goes on for 4 or 5, half a dozen characters or more, was invented in 2016 specifically so that people could avoid having a note on docket that says anybody who comes in here and makes these arguments is a sovereign citizen or a quantum grammar Nazi or whatever, and you will refer to previous cases. So what they did is they decided to invent even more specialized language. Now you might be thinking, subject matter jurisdiction, that sounds oddly specific and almost like a sovereign citizen thing. Sounds perfect for sovereign citizens. Anyway, I pointed out it was invented a while ago as a way to avoid having to lose a court case. It has nothing to do with facts, has nothing to do with justice. It doesn't accomplish anything for you or me. It's based on just mucking things up. And they changed it to something that has, let me read it off, it's CSSCPSGP. Just a long string of characters. And it's supposed to mean something. Doesn't change anything. It's just the same old shit. And the court system acknowledged that and told the persons, no, you're under this. This is like a person who's literally a member of ISIS or ISIL showing up and saying, oh, we're part of the Brotherhood of Hamsters. It doesn't change anything. You still blew up a building with C4. So what does a person do when I point out that that happened and I'm offering a decoder ring for their weird little Dick Tracy conspiracy theory bullshit? Someone comes along and says I'm a girl gossiping and gets mad at me. Now, I would make fun of the person, but I don't have to. What's wrong? Has anyone that you're talking about done to you? What wrong has anyone done to you? I'm pointing out that someone lied. I don't need them to do anything bad to me. You sound like a gossiping girl. What's wrong? Nothing. Right? Nothing? Neener, neener. They've done you KNOW wrong. Aha, sounding clever. SEO, hot. Here you are gossiping about people that have done you no wrong. Counterpoint. These are individuals who said, prove me wrong on something, and I did. Because I could show that they've never accomplished what they said they did. They lied about court cases they said they won. They lied about having any knowledge of the legal system. And everybody who's taken their advice has ended up worse off, usually by having increased fines and fees or losing cases they should have been able to win. That's a plan David Wynn. But anyway, let's go on. Or whatever his name is. Wynn Miller. Miller Lite. You're the wrongdoer plotting and scheming because of the truth, hiding the truth. That sounds so fake philosophical. Are you a beatnik at a coffee shop trying to get chicks? Anyway, you make a stupid video to gossip, but he didn't use 2 T's, but I can see right through you. Well, I like transparency, don't you? You're nothing but a slender wrongdoer. What about a slender wrongdoer? Or a slender man? I can see right through you. Again, this is like a rap song, isn't it? I should have some beat in the background. Who do you work for? Not Jesus, that's for sure. No, I wouldn't be working for Jesus. I'm sorry. I prefer Darwin. I'm an example of Darwin at work. I mean, look at me. I'm a mess. But anyway, so we've invoked religion. You're taunting me. You're a failed rap artist. No, I'm not bringing up that guy. He actually did a funny joke about me living in a trash can. I'm not going to bring him up. It's funny. Let's go on with this. The judges and attorneys are the criminals. Who do you think you're lying to, man? Lack of punctuation I'm dealing with here is amazing. Jesus Christ. On a pogo stick. Can't you just put a comma? A period? No. What about subject manager jurisdiction? They never have. Can you explain that? Can you explain the missing subject matter jurisdiction? You said manager originally. Are you Karen? Are you wanting the subject jurisdiction manager? Subject matter jurisdiction has been explained at the beginning of this video. Only because you asked about it, because you cannot respond to, and I'm going to put the brakes on this. I pointed out that the same assholes are saying the same shit, but labeling it with another name so they could try to claim a copyright flagging ability when they didn't win their cases. Okay, they claimed that they can get you out of any court case, so you can go off and break any rule you want to. All you have to do is give them money. And what happens? You give them money and you lose the court case. And they say, well, I'm not legally a judge, so you can't sue me. They're happy to hide behind the law after claiming they can violate it. Because they want to violate you. Crime violator. You know, anybody see the movie Spawn? Seriously, nobody remembers Violator? He's my favorite clown. Seriously. Who do you think you're lying to, man? Can you explain that? Can you explain it? On every case, missing injured party. Okay, now we're getting to the assertion here. The injured party, when a court case is brought against you by the state. How can the state be injured? They're a fictitious entity called the people of whatever state. Yes, the people of the state of Oregon have decided that we have the right in the state of Oregon to smoke pot and take your license away if you drive drunk from anything. Doesn't have to be just alcohol. We're allowed to take your license. And when you violate our rules, violator, we just simply punish the shit out of you. By taking your pot away, too, if we can. No, really. We, the people in the state, decided to change the law. You guys want to talk about, I don't have the law apply to me. You can just change the law. The state of Oregon is notorious for having people who just fucking change the law against the will of the lawmakers and the people who pay them off. Every once in a while we do it. I bring up every once in a while, but I'll bring it up again. In the city of Portland, Oregon, putting fluoride in the water was made not able to happen repeatedly, not because it's bad for you, but because the city of Portland, Oregon decided to do a backroom deal and get paid off by companies that wanted to sell the systems. And when we said you can't do that, we're going to keep doing that until you stop arguing with us, we bully them. It became a contentious point. We don't actually have to have fluoridation in the water. It'd probably be better for us. But we don't want them to do it. Not because it's bad for us, but because they won't ask. You will ask the people's permission. Now, you're kind of the asshole who wants to make that impossible. You're kind of the person who wants to go into a court case, fuck up everything with garbage, and make it to where no one wants to listen to a counter-argument. That doesn't give us justice. The city of Portland, Oregon is notorious for simply, on principle, taking away something that's actually a healthy, useful thing to add to the water, because the water in Portland lacks the minerals necessary to make it healthy to drink. It's not mineral water. We could have mineral water in the water. We could get it from the hills, but oh no, we have to get it from the frickin' river, which doesn't have a good enough mineral content. How do you hurt a penal code? You hurt the people who wrote it. We, the people, decided this. You're arguing that the majority of people shouldn't have the ability to overrule your capacity to go down the road and hang your wang out the window? What is your problem? I don't care. You don't matter. How does the penal code get violated or molested? Now we're getting into your personal issues and maybe your search history, and I'm not going there. Again, if anybody's curious about what this person lied about asking me about, you can look this up in 5 seconds if you know what it is. Manager. Karens. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.